Hey, if your backup power strategy is a diesel generator sitting in the parking lot waiting for an outage, you're paying for insurance that costs you every single day it sits idle. And there's a version of that actually pays you back during normal operations. So today we're decoding commercial and industrial backup power strategies, diesel, natural gas, and battery. And by the end of the episode, you'll know which architecture fits your facility's risk profile and your operating economics. I am Daniel Burke, and this is Energy Answers brought to you by Tactical Energy Group. If your electric bill is 5, 6, or 7 figures and power reliability is a real operational concern, this episode is for you. So here's the short version. Commercial and industrial backup power is a three-way decision between diesel generators, natural gas generators, and battery energy storage systems. And most operators are evaluating it on the wrong metric. Capital cost per kilowatt tells you almost nothing useful. The question is total cost of ownership against your specific downtime exposure, your demand charge structure, and your uptime requirements. The facility that gets this right turns a pure cost center into a working asset. So before you evaluate any technology, you need one number. What does an hour of downtime actually cost your operation? For a manufacturing facility losing a production run, it might be tens of thousands of dollars per hour or more. For a cold storage operation losing product, it could be even more than that. So that number is the actual anchor. Every backup investment gets measured against that number. A facility losing $50,000 per hour justifies a fundamentally different architecture than one losing 500. So if you caught our episode on commercial and industrial microgrids, that's back in episode 20, you know the power of an islanded energy system protecting your operations. Today, we're zooming in on the backup assets at the heart of that strategy and how to choose between them. All right, so let's start with diesel. Diesel is the reference case, decades of proven reliability, high power density, scalable to multiple megawatts of capacity, on-site fuel storage that makes you independent of the grid and pipeline. Generac's published case study on BESS hybrids describes 4 1-megawatt diesel generators deployed across research, production, shipping, and seed treatment facilities. That's a vendor published piece, so take the specifics accordingly, but it illustrates how diesel scales cleanly to multi-megawatt capacity through modular design. Diesel gets you to large kW capacity fast without complex integration engineering. The trade-offs, though, are pretty significant. Diesel faces increasing air quality restrictions. EPA Tier 4 standards and California CARB rules are tightening, permitting in non-attainment air quality zones, and that exposure does not show up in a simple capital cost comparison. So here's something worth noting. Generac, a company that sells diesel generators, explicitly positions natural gas as offering lower operational costs and a smaller emissions footprint when compared to diesel. When the diesel vendor says that, you should pay attention. Now, natural gas. Natural gas eliminates on-site fuel storage, typically costs less per BTU to operate, and it connects to a continuous pipeline supply. For facilities with moderate uptime requirements, strong ESG reporting obligations, and access to reliable pipeline infrastructure, it improves on diesel's operating economics. The vulnerability you have to underwrite is correlated failure risk. The February 2021 Texas Winter Storm Uri showed that pipeline supply and grid power can fail at the same time across an entire region during the same extreme weather event. So if your backup strategy depends on the pipeline staying online and the grid goes down in a winter storm, you may have no backup at all. For any facility with 99.99% or higher uptime requirements, that is not really an acceptable exposure profile. Battery energy storage systems deliver 2 things generators cannot match in the same way. First, transfer time. Batteries respond within milliseconds. A generator, even with an automatic transfer switch, takes seconds to start. And that's exactly why data centers layer UPS systems in front of generators to bridge that startup gap. Battery energy storage systems collapse that two-layer architecture into one, which is part of the economic case for it in data center and mission-critical applications. In semiconductor fabs, similar ride-through systems exist for the same reason. The point is not that generators leave facilities unprotected, it's that the traditional architecture requires an additional layer to solve the problem battery energy storage systems solve natively. Second, power quality. Battery inverters stabilize voltage and frequency continuously. Generators, once running, introduce their own frequency variation and voltage transients during load changes for precision manufacturing and sensitive electronics. That matters every single time the generator runs. Now, here's the economic argument that changes the entire conversation. Comparing battery energy storage systems capital cost against diesel capital cost on a per kW basis is the wrong analysis because BESS generates economic value during normal operations and diesel does not. The value stack works like this: peak shaving and demand charge reduction. The source data suggests BESS can deliver 10 to 30% total electricity cost reductions annually when peak shaving and load shifting are combined together, with the specific mix depending on your tariff structure and load profile. Separately, though, demand charges can represent 30 to 50% of a C&I facility's total electricity bill, and a diesel generator sitting idle provides zero value against them. Load shifting captures the spread between off-peak and on-peak energy pricing. Renewable integration increases solar self-consumption, so you're not exporting excess generation at incredibly unfavorable rates. Grid services and demand response programs pay you for curtailing load during grid stress events. Battery energy storage systems is the backup technology that generates economic value continuously during normal operations through peak shaving, arbitrage, and demand response in a way diesel and gas gensets structurally cannot do. In episode 14, we went deep on battery energy storage system economics and peak shaving math. So if you've not seen that one, it's absolutely worth your time. Go back and watch it. The most sophisticated approach combines both, though. Battery first for millisecond response and daily economic value. Generator second for extended duration when the battery reaches a low state of charge. Software auto activates the generator at defined thresholds. You get millisecond response, extended runtime, reduced generator hours, lower fuel cost, and longer engine life. I think this hybrid BESS plus generator architecture is where mission critical design is heading, and it is the approach I would recommend evaluating first. So the facilities currently running N+1 or N2 generator topologies will need to model the transition carefully against their existing redundancy requirements. So here's my take. Most of the operators I talk to frame this as a binary. Do I have a generator or not? That framing costs them money each and every year. The generator question should actually be three separate questions. What's my downtime exposure? What's my demand charge structure? And what are my uptime requirements? Answer those three, and the technology decision gets a lot clearer. It's almost made for you. Now, before you sign off on any backup power investment, go back and watch episode 7 on utility standby charges. The moment you connect on-site generation to the grid, your utility bill can look very different. And that has to be in your financial model, central to your financial model before you commit capital. And if you're evaluating a battery energy storage system proposal, there are 4 questions you just cannot skip. What battery chemistry, LFP or NMC? LFP has superior thermal stability, and that matters for fire safety permitting and insurance underwriting. What thermal management system, and is it sized for your climate? AC coupled or DC coupled, and which fits your existing solar setup? And what does the energy management system actually do? The EMS is where the economic value gets captured or lost. If a vendor can't walk you through the EMS logic in detail, that's a problem. Look, obviously, I don't run your facility. That's your job. But my job is to bring you definitive answers to the most pressing energy questions facing commercial and industrial operators like you. So here's the bottom line on commercial and industrial backup power strategies. The right architecture depends on your downtime cost, your demand charge exposure, and your uptime requirements. And battery energy storage systems are the only option that generate economic value when there's no outage. Diesel is defensible where you need extended runtime independence and highest kW capacity at the lowest upfront cost, and regulatory pressure is manageable. Natural gas improves on diesel's operating economics, but it introduces correlated pipeline failure risk that disqualifies it for mission-critical uptime requirements. Battery energy storage systems deliver superior economics for facilities with high demand charges or zero interruption requirements, and the hybrid BESS-plus-generator architecture is the right approach to evaluate first for facilities that need both millisecond response and extended duration. So here are the questions to bring back to your team this week. What is our actual per hour cost of downtime? And have we ever put that number in writing? Does our current backup power strategy depend on natural gas pipeline infrastructure? And have we stress tested that assumption against an extreme weather scenario? Are we comparing BESS capital cost against diesel capital cost on a per kW basis? And if so, are we accounting for the total electricity cost reductions BESS generates during normal operations through peak shaving and load shifting? If we're evaluating a BESS proposal, do we know what battery chemistry the vendor is proposing? And have we asked why? Hey, if today's episode got you thinking about a backup power project you have in the works or one that you're planning, I want to help you. Me and the team at Tactical Energy Group created the Energy Decision Blueprint for Indiana-based commercial and industrial operators spending 5 figures or more each month. We jump on a short call to understand your situation. We pull your bills and interval data. We crunch all of that together and give you a full opinion, whether the project is optimally suited for your facility, whether the payback will actually materialize, and what your rate and operational realities mean for the numbers being proposed. You get the write-up, you get it on a follow-up call, and you're obligated to nothing else whatsoever. So click the link in the description below or go to tacticalenergygroup.com and look for Energy Decision Blueprint. Thank you for listening to Energy Answers, brought to you by Tactical Energy Group. If this helped, send it to another operator you know who's dealing with the same headaches, and visit tacticalenergygroup.com to get more practical tools for your facilities.